Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Before you try to fix your life, before you chase success, before you try to prove anything to anyone, there is one truth you need to face. If you cannot control yourself, you cannot control your life. And this is where it becomes uncomfortable, because it is easy to say, I will start tomorrow. It is easy to say, I just don't feel ready. It is easy to blame your mood, your situation, your past. But deep inside, you already know the truth. You are not stuck because you don't know what to do. You are stuck because you don't do what you already know. That is the real problem. Think about your own life for a moment. How many times have you made a plan but didn't follow it? How many times have you promised yourself that you would change, but ended up doing the same things again? Not once, not twice, many times. And every time that happens, something breaks inside you. Not your ability, but your trust in yourself. Because every broken promise sends a message to your mind. I can't rely on myself. And once you stop trusting yourself, everything becomes harder. You need motivation to start. You need pressure to act. You need someone else to push you. And without those things, you stay stuck. This is why self-mastery is everything. Self-mastery is not about being perfect. It is about being in control. It is about doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It is waking up when your alarm rings, even when your body wants to stay in bed. It is sitting down to work when your mind is looking for distractions. It is staying calm when you want to react. It is uncomfortable. It feels like you are fighting yourself. And in a way, you are. You are fighting the version of you that wants comfort over growth. The version that chooses easy over meaningful. The version that keeps you in the same place. But every time you win that small battle, something powerful happens. You become stronger. Not outside, but inside. And that is where real power is built. Because when you start controlling your actions, even in small ways, you stop depending on how you feel. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop needing motivation. You become someone who moves, no matter what, and that changes everything. So don't try to fix your entire life today. Start with something small. Control your morning. Control your time. Control one habit. And most importantly, keep your word to yourself. Because the moment you can trust yourself again, you don't just feel stronger. You become unstoppable. And once you begin to take control of yourself, even in small ways, you will quickly face the next challenge. Not difficulty, not failure, but something much quieter, boredom. Because at the beginning, change feels exciting. When you decide to improve your life, everything feels fresh. You wake up with energy. You feel motivated. You imagine a better version of yourself. And for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, you follow through. But then something changes. The excitement disappears. The work becomes repetitive. The progress feels slow. The results are not visible yet. And your mind starts whispering something dangerous. This is boring. Maybe this isn't working. This is the moment where most people lose. Not because they are weak, but because they misunderstand how progress works. They think success should feel exciting all the time. They think growth should always feel rewarding. But the truth is much simpler and much harder to accept. Real progress is boring. It is doing the same thing again and again. It is showing up when nothing feels special. It is continuing even when you don't feel like you are improving. And this is exactly where your self-mastery from before gets tested, because now it's no longer about controlling your emotions in a moment. It's about staying consistent over time. It's about choosing discipline every day, without applause, without recognition, without immediate results. Think about it honestly. How many times have you started something with excitement and then stopped when it became normal? How many times have you changed direction, looking for something new, something faster, something easier? That pattern is what keeps people stuck. They don't fail because they can't succeed. They fail because they never stay long enough to see results. Consistency is not about doing everything perfectly. It's about not stopping. Some days you will feel strong. Some days you will feel tired. Some days you will do your best. Some days you will barely do anything. But as long as you keep showing up, you are moving forward. And slowly, something powerful begins to happen. Your habits become automatic. Your mind becomes stronger. Your discipline becomes stable. You stop depending on how you feel because you have trained yourself to act anyway. That is real power. Because once you can stay consistent when it's boring, when it's slow, when it's repetitive, you become different from most people. You stop chasing excitement. You start building results. And one day, without even realizing it, the progress that once felt invisible becomes visible. Your skills improve. Your confidence grows. Your life starts to change. Not because of one big moment, but because you didn't stop. So if you truly want to move forward, remember this. The moment it gets boring is not the time to quit. It is the time to prove that you are serious. Because that is where real winners are built. And if you can stay consistent through the boredom, through the repetition, through the days that feel exactly the same, then you are ready for the next level. Because consistency alone is not enough. You also need focus. And in today's world, focus is under attack every single day. After you build the habit of showing up, something subtle begins to happen. You sit down to work, just like you promised yourself. You are consistent now. You are disciplined. But then, your mind starts drifting. A notification appears. You check your phone just for a second. One video becomes 5. 5 minutes becomes 30. And suddenly, the time you protected so carefully is gone. This is the silent enemy, not laziness, not lack of ability, but distraction. Because distraction does not feel dangerous. It feels small, harmless, easy to justify. You tell yourself, I just need a short break. But deep inside, you know it is not just a break. It is escape. And the more you escape, the weaker your focus becomes. Think about it honestly. How often do you try to do something important, but your mind keeps jumping from one thing to another? How often do you start a task and leave it unfinished? Not because you cannot do it, but because something else pulled your attention away? This is not because you lack discipline anymore. It is because you are not protecting your focus. Focus is not something you naturally have. It is something you defend. Because your attention is your life. Wherever your attention goes, your energy follows. And wherever your energy goes, your results are created. If your attention is scattered, your results will be scattered. If your attention is strong, your results will be powerful. This is why two people can work the same number of hours, but one moves forward while the other stays stuck. One is focused, the other is distracted. And here's the truth most people avoid. You cannot build a meaningful life with a distracted mind. It is impossible. Because anything valuable requires depth, and depth requires concentration. And concentration requires sacrifice. You have to choose what matters and ignore what doesn't. That means fewer distractions, fewer unnecessary inputs, fewer moments where you give your attention away for free. It means learning to sit with your work without running away. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Your mind will resist. It will look for stimulation. It will want something easy, something quick, something entertaining. But every time you bring your attention back, you are training it. You are becoming stronger, and slowly, your focus begins to change. You stop switching tasks every few minutes. You start going deeper into your work. You begin to finish what you start. And something powerful happens. You start doing in 1 hour what others cannot do in an entire day. Not because you are more talented, but because you are fully present. So if you truly want to move forward, do not just stay consistent. Protect your focus. Because consistency builds momentum, but focus multiplies it. And when you combine both, you don't just work harder, you move faster than most people ever will. And when you begin to protect your focus, when you finally sit down, eliminate distractions, and give your full attention to something that truly matters, you will face something unavoidable. You will fail, not once, not just in the beginning, but again and again. And this is where everything you've built so far gets tested in a different way, because focus helps you do the work. Consistency helps you continue the work. But failure challenges whether you will keep going at all. At this stage, many people start strong. They are disciplined, they are focused, they are serious. But the moment they face a real setback, something breaks. They make a mistake, they get rejected, they don't see results. And suddenly, all the progress feels meaningless. Their mind starts speaking again. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you should stop. This is the dangerous moment, because failure is not what stops people. Their reaction to failure is. Most people take failure personally. They don't see it as feedback. They see it as proof. Proof that they are not capable. Proof that they should quit. And once they believe that, they stop trying. Not because they can't improve, but because they are afraid to fail again. And slowly they go back to comfort, back to distraction, back to avoiding effort, back to a life that feels safe, but empty. But if you look deeper, you will see something powerful. Every failure is trying to teach you something. Every mistake is showing you a gap. Every rejection is pointing to something you need to improve. But you can only see that if you are willing to face it honestly. This is not easy. It hurts to admit that something went wrong. It hurts to see your own weaknesses. It hurts to realize that you are not as good as you thought. But that pain is necessary, because that pain is what forces growth. If everything worked perfectly every time, you would never learn deeply. You would never adapt. You would never become strong. Failure builds awareness. Awareness creates improvement. Improvement creates progress. And progress changes your life. The people who succeed are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who refuse to waste failure. They fail, but they don't run. They feel the discomfort, but they stay. They analyze, adjust, and try again. Over time, something shifts inside them. Failure stops feeling like an enemy and starts becoming a tool that sharpens them, a tool that strengthens them, a tool that prepares them for something bigger. So the next time you fail, don't rush to escape it. Sit with it. Ask yourself one honest question. What can I learn from this? Not why me, not am I good enough, but what can I improve? Because that one question changes everything. It turns failure from something that breaks you into something that builds you. And when you reach that point, you are no longer someone who is afraid to lose. You are someone who knows how to grow. And that is when real progress begins. And when you finally understand how to face failure, when you stop running from it and start learning from it, you arrive at the most important point of all, the point where most people quit. Because no matter how disciplined you are, no matter how focused you become, no matter how much you learn from failure, there will still be moments when you feel like stopping, moments where you are tired, moments where nothing seems to work, moments where your progress feels invisible. And in those moments, your mind will return again, not with noise, but with quiet doubt. Maybe this is not worth it. Maybe I've done enough. Maybe I should just stop. This is the final test, not of your ability, but of your decision. Because at this stage, the question is no longer, can you do it? The question is, will you continue? Most people don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because they stop too early. They stop right before things start to change. They stop when it gets uncomfortable. They stop when they don't see results fast enough, and when they stop, everything they built slowly disappears. They go back to where they started, back to the same habits, back to the same doubts, back to the same life they once wanted to escape. But the ones who win are not special. They are not always more talented. They are not always more confident. They just make one decision. Again and again, they refuse to quit, even when they feel tired. They continue. Even when they feel doubt, they continue. Even when they feel like nothing is working, they continue. Not perfectly, not always strongly, but consistently. And that is what builds something unbreakable inside them, resilience, a quiet strength that says, no matter what happens, I will not stop. And over time, that decision changes everything. Because when you don't quit, you give yourself time. Time to improve, time to adjust, time to grow, and eventually, time to succeed. So don't wait to feel strong. Don't wait for everything to become clear. Just make one decision. I will keep going. Even if it's slow, even if it's hard, even if no one sees it. Because the moment you refuse to give up, you are no longer someone who is trying. You are someone who is becoming. And that is the moment your life truly begins to change.